Aloha! Today I'm going to be trying something new. We're going to be looking at what I think is a highly underrated exotic, given that I've seen practically no one mention nor discuss this exotic since Witch Queen's launch. Over the past month there has been a lot of Void 3.0 builds being shared amongst the community, and whilst I do plan to make videos of my own at some point, I wanted my first build video to be on the new Titan exotic chest piece, the Hoarfrost-Z. With this chest piece you can have a totally self-sustaining rotation with high ability uptime, giving you constant healing, overshield, damage resist and damage buffs. Whilst Void 3.0 does check a lot of the same boxes, the additional damage resist, damage buffs and the super makes this behemoth build the superior solo play and total damage build. So without further ado, here's the build. Start off with, obviously, Glacial Quake, that's the only super you can use. For the barricade, it doesn't matter which one you choose, as the Hoarfrost replaces your barricade entirely and has the same cooldown regardless of your choice here. For jump, I recommend Catapult Lift so you can Titan skate. For melee, we have the Shiver Strike, and for the grenade, we have the Glacier Grenade. Our first aspect is Tectonic Harvest. Shattering a stasis crystal creates a stasis shard. This shard grants melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. Our second aspect is the Diamond Lance. Shatter or defeat targets with stasis abilities to create a stasis lance. Our first fragment is the Whisper of Shards. Shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals increases the duration of this benefit. This fragment will help us maintain our grenade uptime by giving us increased grenade regen when we break a crystal. Our second fragment is the Whisper of Rime. Collecting a stasis shard grants a small amount of overshield, which falls off after 10 seconds. Collecting additional shards adds to the overshield and refreshes the timer. Whisper of Rime will give us an overshield when we're full HP and heal us when we're not. Our third fragment is the Whisper of Fissures. Increases the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target. Whisper of Fissures can be replaced with Whisper of Rending if you are not using Dead Messenger and need to be able to break crystals in one shot with your kinetic stasis weapon. Whisper of Rending is a 40% damage bonus to frozen targets and to crystals, but it's highly recommended if you're not using Dead Messenger to break all the crystals at once. The fourth fragment is Whisper of Chains. While you are near frozen targets or a friendly stasis crystal, you take reduced damage from targets. Whisper of Chains will give us a 25% damage resist when we're near a crystal. So the crystals we spawn with our grenade count, crystals we spawn with our barricade will count, and crystals we spawn with our stasis headstone weapons will also count. And the final fragment is Whisper of Conduction. Nearby stasis shards track to your position. Whisper of Conduction will just mean we won't have to chase after the shards when we create them. In terms of primary weapons that I would suggest, my first choice would be Eyes Luna with Unrelenting and Headstone, seeing as if you get a multi-kill with the Headstone Crystal, it will proc Unrelenting. Alternatively, there's the Crate with Subsistence Headstone. Once again, Headstone will proc the other perk, in this case Subsistence. Multi-kills with the Headstone Crystal will reload your gun. For the next 48 hours, Banshee will be setting a Subsistence Headstone Crate. I recommend you go buy it before reset hits on Tuesday. And the final primary I'd suggest is Forensic Nightmare with Perpetual Motion and Headstone. It is a 600 RPM SMG, but personally, this is the only 600 RPM SMG I actually like the feel of. For the special, I recommend the Dead Messenger with the Catalyst, giving you the perk Turnabout. For the heavy, I recommend Reed's Regret with Triple Tap Vorpal, or if you're in the group, Triple Tap Firing Line. Alternatively, if you want to use an exotic energy primary weapon such as Taraba, Vexmither class, Risk Runner or Trinity Cool, you can use Thoughtless with Enhanced Firing Line and Enhanced Overflow, as well as either Reed's Regret if you need the ammo economy, or Palmyra B with Autoload and Holster, Explosive Light and Autoload and Holster Lasting Impression. Either or. In terms of mods, on the helmet, I have Elemental Shards. Stasis Shards count as Stasis Elemental Wells for you. This means when I break a crystal and shards spawn from the aspect Tectonic Harvest, they will count as Elemental Wells. Being as they count as Elemental Wells, we have Quantum Might on the legs, which means those stasis shards will give us a 25% damage bonus. On the arms we have Elemental Charge. Become Charge of Light by picking up an Elemental Well. The Elemental Wells element type matches your subclass element and you gain 2 stacks of Charge of Light. Seeing as the stasis shards are stasis and we are on stasis, we get 2 charges with light. On the chest piece we have High Energy Fire. For Charge of Light, gain a bonus to weapon damage. Each defeated combatant consumes 1 stack of Charge of Light. On the class item, we have Melee Well Maker. Powered melee combatant final blows spawn elemental wells matching your subclass energy type. We also have Distribution. Reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. And we also have Bomber. Reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. On the arms we also have Bolstering Detonation. Grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. This mod does work with glacier grenades, but it only works on the initial freeze when you first throw it. The explosion caused by the crystals does not proc this mod. Our stat distribution is 100 recovery, 100 dis, as high a resilience as we can get. Intellect, strength and mobility don't really matter, but I recommend no less than 40 intellect and no less than 30 strength. The way this build works is, you can start off by throwing a grenade. You can use it as damage resist and protection as you're shooting enemies. When you're done or when enemies are pushing you, you can shatter all the crystals at once, using Dead Messenger for a huge amount of AoE damage. All those shards I just picked up will give you Charge of Light times 2, which will give you 2 kills of High Energy Fire, a stasis weapon boost for 10 seconds, and an overshield for 10 seconds, as well as a chunk of melee energy. Next, you can put down your barrier. You can use a barrier for resist as well as protection. When you're done or when you're being pushed, you can smash all the crystals with Dead Messenger once again to give yourself a grenade back, as well as stasis weapon boost, a stasis shard overshield, and High Energy Fire once again, as well as a chunk of melee energy. You can loot this pretty much repeatedly provided you're doing damage and you're not breaking the crystals too soon after they spawn. You can use your melee for mobility or getting a single kill to proc Melee Well Maker. If you're about to do DPS, what you can do is put down a barricade or a grenade, smash a few of the crystals to get stasis weapon boost for 10 seconds, and then start doing DPS with your weapon. If you need to move, you have a grenade up. You can prep yourself and start doing DPS again. It's a very easy gameplay loop to maintain. All it requires is some basic ability management. Something I forgot to say, with the Dead Messenger Catalyst turnabout, every time you break a combatant's shield, it will give you an overshield. That about sums up the build. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to leave a comment. Of course, the dim loadout will be linked in the description. That'll be all from me today. Have a great day and thanks for watching.